Network. All right, it's red, not deep red in stocks, but a little deeper if you venture into the crypto waters where things typically are a little more dangerous. Mr. Phil Striebel joins us from Blue Line Futures, Chief Market Strategist, just the man I need to talk some crypto into the weekend. BTC, Phil, we're on the brink. What do you think?
It's definitely got some problems. One last thing, though, that last segment you were talking about seasonalities,
Yeah,
just so you know,
sure.
that the Dow and the NASDAQ have both been stronger the last 15 Junes in a row. So 15 straight years from where they started, they ended up higher. So I just wanted to kind of address that real quick.
That's July?
That doesn't mean, what's that?
That's July?
July. Last 15 years, 15 out of 15, the Dow and the NASDAQ have both been higher on the month.
I like that. That's a pretty good streak. Not a bad streak. Pretty good.
And yeah, no, it also doesn't mean that it's going to happen this go around too. So, but shifting to, the Bitcoin and things like that, I mean, you got to hold that May low. It's like 57,500, somewhere in that pocket. It looks like we might retest it. This has been a kind of a bear market since getting to about 72,500. We had that big washout at the start of the week. 60K is your critical level support. We get a close over 62,500. It might confirm a bottom there and start to move up. But yeah, a lot of pressure there. I really think that the cryptos, you got to be trading out like the El Trumpo coin and, long that, short the Biden, whatever. Well,
that was kind of the thesis going into last night, right? Like we don't do the politics thing, but where it's relevant to markets, the former president's made it pretty clear in his language. We talked about this with Scaramucci, who hates him basically, and had to admit, yeah, he's turning very pro Bitcoin, and then all the odds of Trump winning shifted pretty substantially last night. How come the coin's not loving that?
I know. I would have thought we would have got a better reaction, but I think it's a dialogue of they need to bring in the proper people to address some of the issues with Bitcoin mining and things like that, and then
BTC's also up 600% under Biden too, so he hasn't been that bad for it.
I know it's tough. We'll see what happens here. So,
do you think it makes a difference for Bitcoin?
No, not really. I mean, I think it's just just mined out the way it is. It's an established product by now. I think it's a momentum play. I wish that we would have saw the equities close on the highs here today. And really finish off, a strong quarter and things like that. This pullback's got to be a lot of profit taking going on, and it's profit taking across the board in a lot of different assets. Even the metals couldn't hold on to their gains, and they had great economic data today. We saw all the agricultural products really slump off. You had that the planning expectations. Even the energy's coming off quite a bit too.
Yeah, just kind of all drifted risk off. So, maybe we'll look back on this next week and say, all right, end of, quarter calendar, et cetera. But I think there's something to be mined, pun intended, on the crypto stuff, because if the guy who's running the country ultimately doesn't really matter for Bitcoin, and I sympathize with it, I don't think it really does, because I think it's just basically a function of speculation, money in the system. So, if one guy, I guess, puts more in than the other, it might matter. But then we just had this massive run up into ETFs where, it's hard for me to envision who the next buyer is at this juncture. You know what I mean? What could change policy-wise? You can buy Bitcoin on a zero-fee ETF right now.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that the ETF flows. I mean, that's exactly how the precious metals go too. I mean, everybody piles in SLV and the thing blasts off. And then the second that, it's disrupted like this and it starts going into a bear market, people just go, I don't want to park my money there anymore. And then they go into something else. So, yeah, I just don't see any real reason for people to jump into the crypto space at the moment. You got to wait for it to touch those lows, that 57,500. You see if it holds, or if you gotta confirm a bottom in order to get in there. So money is going to start looking for a home here next quarter, and we'll see if it can flow into it.
What do you think's possible if it doesn't hold 60? I mean, there are so many gaps on this chart. Basically, going back to last October, we ran up quick on BTC from, the old 20, 25,000, 30,000 range. I mean, do you think it could fall apart, or is there support on the way down? How do you envision that playing out?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, there's got to be a lot of stops below 57,500. People are going to start freaking out if we close below there. I think you gotta stay positive at the moment and just look that we've been in this big. It just got bigger ranges. That's all. The average true range on it, a couple $1,000. So on a daily basis, that thing's been moving. So it's just a tough play. It's just not.
Hoping a prayer right now.
Yeah, that's very true.
Hey, while I got you, you mentioned commodities earlier, but to keep us honest on the show, we haven't talked a drop of crude. I don't think on any of my shows today, maybe. But it's at $80. Like the only thing, am I missing something? Is there anything going on with WTI other than it's finally holding $80?
Crude oil's up 17% year to date. We got to hold $80. We break above 82.50. I think we're running back up to 85.
Yeah, that's where I wake up.
Yeah, the story's been really, the EIA inventory is 457 million versus 474 million barrels. So, but that's been we've been treading water and been below that, all year. We've been tight on crude oil, but I think that the Middle East is kind of died down as far as you're not hearing the news agencies aren't really covering the story over there in the Middle East right now and the conflicts that are going on. So, it's just not there. You don't have that scare tactic where people are like, oh, I got to own crude. Israel's going to blow up. Iran's going crazy, things like that. And then you get Trump with that momentum shift in the debate last night. He did tout energy independence, and I think that if he did come into office, you could get $65 crude oil again. It just seems logical that it's there, that people might be a little bit nervous and are taking some off at this higher level.
To me, it's kind of like the crypto thing, too, though, where it's like we've got the peak oil production ever under Biden. You can't be that bad for oil. U.S. is the biggest producer in the world now. Like, I don't know, could we be producing even more? I guess so, but we'll see.
Summer doldrums right now in a lot of these markets.
Yeah, I hear you. Wait, 82.50, and then crude gets interesting again.
Then we go to 85, and then it's the $100 calls are going. People are going to be complaining about inflation. Then all of a sudden the Fed will be raising rates again. It's just like it's too much to digest.
Hey, cheer up, Phil. All right, have a good weekend, man. Appreciate you as always, Mr. Streetville. Pleasure. Always fun. Thank you. Chief Market Strategist of Blue Line Futures. All right, I like that. It's a reasonable prediction, though. Anytime crude starts to rally, people start freaking out about inflation, calling for hikes. When we come back, let's take a look at the international picture.